Please remember to like and subscribe. Comment below if you got questions or feedback, or if you got a stock you want to see the analysis for. This video is a 2022 tech growth portfolio for you guys. Tried to keep it simple and work out kind of a few different angles, some basic stuff. So if you take a look, start with the basics, right? QQQ. This is basically the Nasdaq, just good growth. I have 34% of the portfolio in there. The rule of thumb is you never really want to have more than 10% in any one position, but I'm breaking that rule here because QQQ is actually an index fund that holds a lot of different stock. So I think you're okay there. 30%, this shouldn't say REIT, excuse me, this should say tech. And then if we take a look at the chart, here you have your QQQ. It's just been a monster, right? Just kind of classic uptrend. You got to be careful in this industry or this whole sector, because if interest rates go up, growth stocks are probably going to come down because you won't be able to borrow money to grow as fast. So just be careful in this space, even though it has been crushing it recently. So thought the video was good. Do have a MACD cross here, which signals continued bullishness moving forward. Take a look going back. Now we have Apple, bellwether stock, right? About 10%. I based this all on 100K, so you guys can kind of work with it. It's a little extra spending money in there if you want to put 3K somewhere else. 10% in Apple. I'll show you the chart, but it's Apple, right? Not a lot going on. I would not buy this here, I guess I would say. I would wait for a pullback on Apple. You got this big gap that I started coloring in. MACD, the RSI is almost at 70. I would wait for a pullback here to add or build a position. Take a look back. Palantir. This is one you guys might not know. Smaller allocation, small list actually. Palantir. This is a recently IPO'd company. I've actually seen the technology firsthand, seen demos of it, and it's very impressive. They do contract work for the government and they do big corporations, a lot of data science work, software implementations and integrations. Think like the new Oracle, the new SAP, that kind of stuff, but more data driven. So take a look at the Palantir chart. It's a little rough, recent IPO, had a big rip, moving upward here with everybody and the excitement. Has pulled back below the moving averages. Now, moving averages probably don't mean much at this point because it's a brand new stock. But if you look at this yellow line or this orange line, it is sitting in the 77 range. Does have an increasing RSI, which is bullish, and it's pretty low RSI right now. So you could build a position here. I held this stock on and off over the last year or so. Decent little stock. Nice exposure to something that's a little more up and coming. If we flip back, you have SOXS. This is your semiconductors, right? 16%. You could go deeper here, I think. Another ETF holds a bunch of semiconductor stocks. If you want to get fancy with it, you can actually buy SOXL. SOXL. That's the leveraged one. It's a 3-time leverage. You don't have to actually leverage your portfolio. The actual fund is leveraged using options and whatnot and borrowing money. So you can get a little more aggressive there. You can do the same thing with the Qs. You can do TQQQ, which is triple leverage QQQ. And then if we take a look at that chart, SOXX, just again a monster. I rode this thing from the bottom of COVID up, tripled my money, sold. Honestly, could have doubled the money from the triple, even after, if I would have continued to hold. Didn't, moved it into more dividend paying stuff, got a little more conservative as the PE ratios climb. But if you look at this chart, there is continued bullishness with the MACD cross. Not a real strong one yet, but it has followed through. Resistance here as it bounced off the 50-day, which it's done in the past. It's had some risky moments down testing the 200, but it's had low RSIs to kind of support the buying at the weakness. So good position there to be open to. QYLD, I'm going to skip this one for a second. Nvda is kind of this is 16% allocation to semiconductors, but then I'm buying Nvidia specifically, so you could argue that this is 22% allocation to semiconductors. Nvidia, I think, is just the best in the space. Gaming, GPUs, just overall computing and innovation. AMD is also good, but I think Nvidia is the best. And if we go to the Nvidia chart, you take a look at this. It's similar to the SOXX chart, moving up, good support. and it's about to have a MACD cross. It may, so you should really watch this. Is it going to bounce off this cross, or is it going to follow through? A nice follow through here would say, look, we're probably going to move higher. A bounce would say, let's try and get a price somewhere more near the 50-day or the 100. QYLD, this is a completely different strategy, but I wanted to mix it in because it's basically what it does is it buys the NASDAQ, it buys the Qs, and it sells covered calls against the positions to generate dividend income. This thing pays a monster dividend. It's 11%, almost 12%. So I figured I'd throw in it made sense, give a little bit of cash flow in this portfolio outside of the growth while still having tech exposure. So that's a nice one for you guys. I hold that in another portfolio. Got another video on here, 2022 dividend yield portfolio. Take a look at that. And then let's hit this last stock, Riot here. So Riot, some of you guys are probably familiar with. These guys, this is your exposure to crypto without buying crypto, right? This is Riot Blockchain. They own a bunch of crypto. They're deep in the crypto and blockchain space. They had this rip higher when Bitcoin ripped higher, kind of, shouldn't say the first time, but recently in the year. And it actually had a much greater return than Bitcoin on this rip higher, on this rally. So now it's kind of been sitting kind of very, very relaxed, low RSI values. This could be bought here. Does have resistance above it on the moving averages, but this is a longer term play here, right? You're going to buy this, you're going to hold it for years or at least the year, and you're playing the crypto market without actually opening up a Coinbase or some other sort of portfolio. You're able to keep it all in one. So hope this helps, guys. If you have feedback, thoughts, comments, or whatever, please comment below, and God bless. Enjoy the day.